40 things I'm learning in my 40s, sharing some of the wisdom that I've learned in 2 decades of leadership. There's a seasoning that only comes from experience. And a lot of leaders out there today, they just regurgitate the same knowledge over and over, or worse, they just hop on a trend that is factually false and sometimes really destructive, but it's new and it's clickbaity and it gives them an edge. And that's not what creates long-term success. There are principles, there are ways in which the world works, and there's ways in which we interact with the world that are true and that are right, that have always been true, will always be true into the future. And those are the things that we can build our life on. When we build our life on the principles of success, when we build our life on the Creator's principles for success, what happens is we can rest assured that we're going to consistently and move in the direction of our dreams and our goals and all of the things that we're trying to accomplish. And so I want to share with you some wisdom. And this was inspired by a book called The Everyday Hero by Robin Sharma. And he's got a chapter in here called The 40 Things I Wish I'd Known at 40. I'm 41, and 40 was a big turning point for me. It's caused me to reevaluate and re-look at, to re-examine my life in every foreseeable and imaginable way. And it's been very, very difficult, but also very, very rewarding to find the true things that life is really made of, to unlock the secrets and the keys to truly successful living, not just winning in one area of life, but winning in all areas of life. I have a group that I call the War Room. It's a coaching group for entrepreneurs of all sorts. And in that group, we focus on what we call the 5 F's: faith, family, fitness, finance, and future self. These are the areas we can't get wrong. If we live our life and we lose in one or more of those areas, we didn't win at all. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, but to lose his soul, or to lose his family, or to lose his health, or to lose himself? Okay. And so one of the focuses is on building a culture around principles and truth and real, meaningful, significant success. Okay. And so I want to share with you one of the things that I'm learning in my 40s, one lesson I'm learning in my 40s. And I've actually known this lesson for a long time, but it's become more and more apparent to me. Okay, let me read this to you. Okay, that where did this go? Okay, that it's better to read a few books deeply than to consume many books lightly. It's better to read a few books deeply than to consume many books lightly. And this is a mantra that I've had for a long time, right? I don't read a lot of books. I read a lot. I just don't read a lot of books. Now, how could this be? How could you both read a lot and not read a lot of books? And the answer is very simple, and is what Robin Sharma put here. I try to read them deeply. I want to gain a deep understanding of the information that is true and right and principle based, right? And today it seems like a lot of books, and with the advent of AI, now AI is writing people's books for them, right? It's like, okay, that's it. Exactly what we needed, more machines telling us what to think and do, right? But one of the things that I find is that most books are very, very light on usable, impactful, meaningful ideas. They might have one or two, and it's a bunch of fluff and a bunch of stories about the two, and that's all great. Okay, but then there are some books that are core to the human existence, core to self-development, core to peace and love and happiness and material success, core to our mindset and our state and way of being. And when we find those core sources, those core resources, those deep wells of wisdom, we don't want to just blow through them in an attempt to read a volume of books, right? Like that's a very pride, ego driven, like I'm going to read a book a week. I'm going to read 52 books. Okay, superstar, how many of them are you going to act on? So I'm glad you're reading them, but if that what you read and what you learn doesn't change your behavior, then you wasted your time, right? Because it's not what we know that matters. It's what we do with what we know that matters. And so I want to read the great works deeply. I want to deeply understand them. I want to be changed and transformed by the ideas. Ideas have consequences, but when we don't let those ideas take root, when we don't marinate on them, when we don't make them our own, when we don't formulate an action plan and a response to the new thinking and the new ideas. They lose their transformative power. And what we become is a reservoir like the Dead Sea where everything flows in, but nothing flows back out. And there's a reason the Dead Sea is dead. It's because there's no circulation. And I meet a lot of dead leaders. I meet a lot of people, they're just going through the motion. I'm reading books, I'm listening to the podcast. I'm just not doing a darn thing with any of it. I'm in the quest to consume more information because I feel like I'm working when I consume information. I feel like I'm growing when I consume information. We are not consumers of information. We are producers with the information. We use that information to produce in our life the outcomes that we seek. Rich and rewarding relationships, a great spiritual life, a fantastic marriage, great children, a rewarding career, and service to other people. That's what we should be creating with what we're doing. And when we read not for depth, but for breadth, we shortchange ourselves and the world of all of the gifts that are on the inside of us, that those works should be molding us to bring out. And so I don't like to read a lot of books. I like to read a few books very, very thoroughly. I want to understand them thoroughly. I want to understand them. I want to be transformed by them. I want them to change my thinking, my viewpoint on life. I want to walk around actually getting the benefit of the knowledge that I've consumed. And lastly, I want to have an action plan. What am I going to do with this? Because until you change something you do daily, nothing is going to change in your life. Ultimately, our results are the byproduct of what we do or do not do. Our results are the byproduct of what we do or do not do. And what we do is a byproduct of what we believe. And books are one of the greatest tools that I've seen to create new, better, more accurate, and profitable beliefs. We can take all of the accumulated human knowledge from thousands of years of living, from an almost eternal perspective in many ways, right? That's this one here, okay? The eternal perspective. But you've got all of the wisdom of human history, but we're not acting on that wisdom. And so I want to have a plan to act on it. I would rather read zero and act intently than read everything with no action at all, because action is going to trump knowledge 100% of the time. Knowledge that is not acted on 100% of the time. And so I want to read a few books deeply rather than consume many books lightly. And what we're actually experiencing right here, what I'm doing with you right now, this is an evidence of that. So I've had this book now for probably a month and a half. I'm about halfway through it. You can see that it is all tattered up there in the corners. You can see it's all marked up inside of this thing, right? It's all marked up. Okay, why? Because I want to get this. I want to be transformed by it. And what I'm doing right now with you, 40 things that I'm learning in my 40s, this is an application exercise for me. Ian, you read something, you were moved and inspired by it. Now I want you to internalize it. That was his message. Now make it your message. What can you take there to begin to elevate out of the inside of you? These are his lessons. Ian, what are your lessons? What are your lessons? And going through this exercise, I've committed to sharing 40 things with you. It's going to take 40 days. For 40 days, I'm going to be dwelling on these little ideas. Isn't that something? Today, I'm just looking at one sentence that I'd rather read few books deeply than many books broadly. And what does that mean? And what can we learn from it? And what do we do with that knowledge, right? I'm literally teaching you this by example right now. By example right now, I'm showing you this exact pattern with which I like to read and to digest. If you watch, okay, if you watch these videos, you see my books over here on the desk. I've got a whole bunch of books up there. I've got all sorts of stuff. I have loads of books in my storage unit, okay? It's like, my storage unit is like the libraries of the Far East, man. It's like, it's pretty impressive, right? I just don't have anywhere to put the stuff, okay? But I want you to see that these books don't change frequently. They don't change frequently because these are in my next to read, okay? And I go slowly through them. I'm not rushing. Why would I want to take the wisdom of the ages and rush through it just for more stuff that I'm not going to do. I want to be changed and transformed, and I want you to be changed and transformed. And so I want to ask you today, for those of you who have reading goals, okay, you want to read a certain amount of pages a day, please stop. You want to read a certain chapter a day, please stop. You want to read through the Bible in a year. I've done this. I've read through the Bible in a year. Please stop. Right? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh no, I'm just trying to get through it. For what reason? Why are you trying to get through consuming this information if you don't have a plan to internalize it, be transformed by it, and act on it? What is this purpose? It doesn't help you at all. Why are you doing it at all to begin with? Please stop. And instead, let's drink deeply from the wells of knowledge and experience from the great people that have come before us. Let's drink deeply from that place. And as we drink deeply, we become deeper people because we sit and stir and chew on that knowledge. What does this mean? What does this mean to me? How can I use this to get where I want to go in life? And how can I use this to help the people that are around me? And so as we begin to circulate through that, okay, that's where real transformation begins. And y'all know I've got a new book coming out, shameless plug, 12 Words That Change Everything. Let me tell you something really quickly about this book. I wrote my first book, Byproduct, which was a many times bestseller. I wrote that book in about 9 months, okay? This book has taken me 5 years to produce. I actually had to write it twice. I wrote it once, and then I lost the file, and I had to write it again. And I was so demoralized by that. Literally, I was so demoralized. I almost said, maybe that book is just not supposed to come out, because how, in today's day and age, how do you lose that, right? How do you lose that? And God bless Rick, my business manager. What a killer. He's such an amazing guy. Shout out to Rick, if y'all know Rick. He was able to recover part of the file like a year later, right? And I had already started rewriting it. So I essentially scrapped it and rewrote it again. And so I sat with this. I chewed it, because the premise of the book is 12 words that change everything. 12 words that change everything. And I wanted to focus on 12 of the most meaningful and impactful words in my life. The truth, the transformation agents, the catalyst, the words that moved me to action, that changed and transformed me on the inside. And specifically, these were words that I didn't see much teaching on, much training on. They were sort of these hidden gems, these covered pieces of greatness. And in each one of those words, I actually go through this exactly. What does this deeply and truly mean? How can this transform me? And what can I do with this one? How can I act on this one word to change everything in my life? It was so interesting, right? Because the publishers, they didn't like that subtitle, that change everything. Okay, 12 words that change everything. For me, they changed everything. For the people that I coach and mentor, they changed everything. These words, these ideas, the actions that are built within them, they change literally everything for me. And so that's where that book came from, is I'm like, man, these things have transformed me, and yet there's nobody teaching them. There's no dialogue about them. They're sort of these maybe forgotten truths. I don't want to say of yesteryear, but of all time. These things that have been with us forever, these things that are material to our lives, and yet we forget them, we overlook them, or we put them to the side in the search of a new trend or a new fad or some idea that's not going to be here 3 years from now in any meaningful way. And that's what I wanted to write. And man, it was such a labor of love. But man, this is one of these books, you all. This is one of these books that can and should and will be. It will be one of those sources of truth that you go back to over and over and over. A North Star, a grounding point, a center place that reminds you of who you are and whose you are and what you're called to do with your life, and that you are well able, capable, and strong, that there's a plan and a purpose for your life. And it's for good and to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. That it's not over till you say it's over. That there are things that you can bet your life on in this world, that you can plant your flag in this world. That's what this book is about. And so, guys, listen, it's coming out in the middle of May. There is a release date. It is coming out in the middle of May. But on April 22nd, which is just like a couple of weeks away now. On April 22nd, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm actually going to do a behind the scenes author's preview. I'm going to be teaching some of the most impactful sections live from this book before the book is released. You're going to actually, I don't just want you to go buy this book because you like me or whatever, you think it's good, and you can do that if you want, okay? But I just want to, it was so profound an experience for me, consolidating this information, writing it, teaching it, living it. It was such a thing. I wanted to share that with you. And it's totally free. It's totally free. And the book's not even going to be released there. So you'll be able to pre-sale it or whatever. Okay, but there's no pitch. It's just me teaching you. If I could spend an hour with you, if you could say, Coach, how did this book impact you? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so powerful, so transformative, so transcendent, no matter what you do in life. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a C-suite executive, you're a killer entrepreneur, you're a sports player, you're a pastor, wherever you are, this is going to help you. It's going to change you. It's going to transform you. And so all you need to do to be part of that is just comment the word book. Just comment the word book, and we will send you an invite right away. Or you can actually hit the QR code in the upper left-hand corner there. You can hit that QR code and you take a picture of it, and you can get registered to be on our launch team. For our launch team members, we actually have a private event this upcoming week. You've been notified by email if you're on the launch team. If you're on the launch team and you haven't got it, go look for it, okay? Because we've got a very, very special training and event that's even more exclusive than the pre-launch on the 22nd for you coming up next week. So you can join the launch team, or you can register for the event on the 22nd by commenting the word book. But guys, listen, I would rather read fewer books more deeply than many more books less deeply. I don't want a breadth of knowledge. I want a depth of connection. A surface knowledge has never changed the world, but an inseparable bond to the truth has always changed the world. It's always changed the world. You, my friend, are a world changer. You are a world changer. And we got to get the tools that equip us to know the truth, to walk in the truth, to live by a set of principles that has been here since the beginning of time. It's been here long before you and I, and will be here long after you and I. That's the wisdom. That's the truth. That's the breakthrough. That's the thing that all of us need more of in our lives. And I'm so excited to be able to bring that to you. So hit the QR code. And if this impacted you in any way, if this knowledge, if this nugget, the 40 things I'm learning in my 40s, that I would rather read fewer books more deeply than more books more broadly, that I'm here to apply what I'm learning, not just to be a black hole of endless knowledge. So if this helped you in any way, smash that share button. Thank you so much for doing that. Tag some people in the comments that you feel like would benefit. You're a readaholic, okay? Tag them so that they can get their head on straight with this. But man, listen, it's always an honor. I know your time's valuable. Thank you for spending a few minutes of it with me today. God bless you guys. We will see you soon.